So today's project is figure out why this window is leaking. You can see all the rot in there, and they just used 1-by and covered it with tin. Started taking it apart, and I will show you what I found. Okay, so here's what I'm finding. The J-mold, as you can see, they didn't bend a flap up, so anything getting in your siding is going to come straight down, straight out that crack. Rotted this out, and then they just used the factory rubber drip cap, which never extends over. You always need to bend a return on that down, so that just allows everything in there. So I'll show you how to do that later. And then they didn't do a return back in on their tin. They just nailed a face piece of tin over there and relied on caulk. You never want to rely on caulk because it breaks down and cracks over time. And unless you plan on caulking every year, it's gonna leak. Another mistake is they caulked their tin to the drip cap. But you never want to caulk the drip cap because it traps in just as much moisture as it keeps out. You need to let that breathe. Caulk the top, never caulk your drip cap. This is why I don't like using the factory window plastic drip cap. It ends right at the miter joint, so everything coming down seeps right in that miter, rots your window frames out, and you never know because they're aluminum clad, but all the wood on the inside will start rotting out. Here's how you do the end of the drip cap. Make a slit here, here, and bend that over. And that goes over and covers that miter joint. So here it is installed. You can go right over the factory plastic drip cap. Get it bent right over the side. Gets that water right over that miter joint. As opposed to that, you can see that seam in that miter joint there on the aluminum. It's where all your water is going to go. So the mistake they made here is you should have cut this longer, bent this tab into this one so it bridges that gap, and then you should have put a drip cap on top of your trim board across the window and onto your siding. So everything came down the siding, went right out there, started rotting that trim out. So I'm going to put a flashing under here when I put the trim back on, just like I did above the window here, and that will prevent that from leaking anymore. Got the new tape on here, finish that up over the top, new flashing, and that should fix their problems. Here's the proper way. You need to put this flashing, got the tabs bent up around, come around that corner. That will go over your trim board. Have the returns bent down over the edge there. Put a little sealant in that corner where the crack is, and that's how that trim should be flashed. And you got the finished product, all flashed, retrimmed, recaulked. It's a lot better.